Hi, Queen. Welcome to Vuyanzi Coaches. I am Vuyanzi, also known as Life Coach Vuyanzi. Now, I want to tell you something. First and foremost, outside of the show, whenever I work with a client, one session is usually about an hour. A couple of them have taken a little bit over an hour. That's number one. Number two, the minimum amount of sessions that I would work with a client is the minimum of 6 sessions. I've actually had clients for 6 months, a year. So why am I telling you this? Because what you're seeing on this show, this opportunity to go into a coaching session, well, it's not a full coaching session. It is a jump start laser coaching session. Why do we call it a jump start? Well, it's doing just that, right? What happens when you jump start a car? And I don't know much about cars, so let's not go too in depth. So you start the car, and usually when my car has died, thank God that has not happened lately, but you just kind of go on. The person has helped you with their cables. They've jump started you. You kind of say thank you, and you drive up off into the sunset. Now, what happens after that is up to me. Do I need to check the battery? Am I going to go somewhere and park and leave on the lights again, or leave on the radio? I don't even play the radio. I sound like I'm in the 90s right now. But do something or leave on a light inside the car to make the battery go dead again. Everything I do is up to me. Will I take it to a mechanic to check out and see what other things might have been wrong? Everything I do is up to who? Is up to me. So this is called a jump start session. And what you're going to see by the very nature of it, sometimes by the end of the session, all doesn't necessarily seem right with the world. You know, I'd love to say at the end, you know, we had world peace. We all held hands and sang kumbaya, but it doesn't always happen like that. And in fact, sometimes coaching can produce frustration, because then you kind of have to leave it there when this light goes off, right? When the camera stops rolling. Most of these people, you know what I've said to them? Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye. And that's it. What happens after this is up to them, unless they choose to come back to work with me or another coach. So today you might see a little bit of frustration in this coaching session, because as I coach, there are things that come up. So I want you to keep that in mind as you watch today's coaching session. And let's think about this. Your thought for going into this coaching session, as you go into this coaching session today, is I want you to really think about, why aren't you doing what you really want to be doing? I'll say that again. Why aren't you doing, Queen, what you truly want to be doing? What your heart and your soul is telling you to do. Okay, I'll see you on the other side. Tonight's session is with Misha. Hi, Mish. How are you today?
I'm fine. How are you?
Fine. And thank you for agreeing to this. And we're going to just jump right in,
Okay.
just so everyone knows this is a jumpstart coaching session to jumpstart you towards whatever goal you're working towards. So I start that off by really asking you, what topic can we tackle today in our session?
I guess actually pursuing what I think I've may have brought this up in the past, pursuing what I got a degree in. And I say that because I had such a long journey in getting my college degree. And I guess as many people do, like, you know, they go to college for something and they end up doing something completely different. But it's kind of, I find it kind of odd that, you know, I, I went to college after high school, took a couple of years off, went back, changed majors, and, I spent so much time and money in pursuing a particular thing, but yet I'm not doing it. And I'm just like, what the hell? Like, what am I doing? Like, why did I put so much money and time into this? But yet here I am doing something that, that I say I'm passionate about, but I'm not doing it. And granted, I am doing stuff on the side, but that wasn't the plan. Like, the plan, and I know that photography is what it is. And I know that it was going to be competitive and it's hard. Everybody has a camera. Everyone's a photographer. But I feel that that's kind of a huge struggle. And I guess my issue here is that I'm not putting in as much effort as I should be. I'm not sure what's holding me back. I don't know if it's myself. I don't know what's going on. So yeah.
Yeah. Easy stuff to tackle in 30 minutes. No problem. Um, so no problem. So thank you for saying that. So let me just ask you right away, what would it mean to you to do the thing fully that you said you went to school for, that you really want to do?
Everything.
What would that mean for you?
Everything, because this was, like I said, when I originally graduated high school, that wasn't my first choice and major. So it was, it took me a while to even get to photography is what I want to do. Like I had a lot of different things that I explored throughout those years. So it took me a while to finally get there. And like, I did a lot of thinking. It wasn't just like, oh, I'll do this. So it didn't mean a lot for me to, do this, maybe not exclusively, but do a little bit more than I am right now. Like I said, I know that it's very competitive. It's a competitive world in photography, but I want to be doing it a little bit more, whether it be on the photojournalism side or more commercial weddings. Like I want to be doing a little bit more than what I'm doing right now. Okay. And like I said, I think I'm not sure if it's something mentally. I don't know if I'm scared to put myself out there because it's competitive. I don't know what it is, but something's holding me back, and it's probably myself. I don't know what.
Okay, so I'm gonna go through this series of exercises with you, and I'm gonna kind of keep going. I think you'll see what'll happen here.
Do you mind if I take?
Huh?
Do you mind if I take sips every now and then?
Oh, don't.
I don't want it to look bad.
Coffee in that cup.
Like cup in my face. So
it's all good. It's all good. So so I'm going to push you a little bit more still on this question that I'm asking you, but I'm going to do it this way, Nish. I want to pursue photography because.
Oh, am I answering this?
Yeah, you're finishing. Fill in the blank. Sorry, fill in the blank.
Okay, because it's what I love to do. I love to tell stories with it, whether it's personal or someone else's. And excuse my hand movements. They do that, but it really doesn't mean anything. Just end. You see me doing this, because I feel fulfilled when I do it. I make stories in my head with it. Like I feel like I can't verbalize it without doing this.
Okay. We'll do that. You do that. I won't. You do that.
Like I said, I feel it's how I express, whether it's something that I'm personally going through, or whether it's, I'm trying to word this right, whether it's expressing how I feel through someone else. if that makes any sense. And
Okay.
what I mean by that is, and as I mentioned to you, I don't like putting myself out there physically. Like even this right now is very vulnerable to me. I don't like expressing how I feel. So I've done a lot of work in the past where I can relate to people who have experienced things that I have, whether it's being a Black woman or whether it's someone who's struggled with depression or just anything that they're going through, and I can relate with them, and I could do like portraits of them and tell their story, and I can relate to their story in that way, and I'm somewhat telling my story through them, but not directly, if that makes any kind of sense. Do you
It
do?
does, because what I'm hearing from you right now is I'm hearing, and that word of stories is coming up. So I'm hearing stories, I'm hearing expression, I'm hearing that it's about experiences and the relation of what you're seeing with what you've even experienced, what you're putting to the camera, even with your experience. So that connection between what you feel and what you're seeing. So one thing that I heard you saying, you said it, and I think you already know what this answer is. You said, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's fear of putting myself out there. However, you have submitted and said, and first of all, let me commend you for coming on here. Hello, let's give it up for our first guest. Hey! So, but I commend you for being here because you've already expressed, right, that this type of thing would be uncomfortable. But you've already said, even when you're talking about pursuing photography, that you said, I don't know if it's me putting myself out there. Let me ask you this, if you, or fear of just, and you went back, you're basically saying the same theme when you're talking. I don't know if you're hearing, you said, me putting myself out there, the fear of, something's blocking me. Maybe it's just me. Okay, so one thing I say about coaching is that I believe people who come to me, so Mish, when you come to me, I believe people coming to me are whole, creative, and resourceful. I believe that wholeheartedly the answer is within, and it's what I do is help it to emerge so that you can take it and hopefully move, if you will, with it.
Mhm.
So I think the answer is already that thing that's within you, that thing of putting yourself out there. Even though you're behind the camera and you're not necessarily taking a picture of yourself, but you said it's you. So let's talk about like you and what that thing is inside of you. But before we do that, I know you are creative and you're good with imagery. So we're gonna do a quick mental camera exercise, if you will, okay? So, and I think, and just so everyone knows, in the past, Misha and I have been in a Black woman support circle before. So this isn't my first time meeting Misha. So I'm gonna ask you to do this. First, are you comfortable with closing your eyes? Or okay. What is she gonna ask? So I'm gonna keep my eyes open because I'll ask you to be like nodding and stuff when you're ready. So I'm gonna ask you for a few to close your eyes, and as you close them, I'm just gonna ask you just kind of settle in and take your own 3 good deep cycles of breath. And we're shallow breathers, so I'm gonna ask you to breathe deeply for 3 cycles of breath. And as you're doing them, when you're ready, you'll nod your head. Okay. So I'm going to bring back up the words that you said, Mish. You said, maybe I have fear. Maybe I'm not saying it quite as eloquently as you did, but you said, maybe it's me stopping, maybe it's me that's holding me back. I want you to just look for that answer, if you will. Because if you were to put yourself out there, If you were to pursue the very thing that you love, I want you to think about right now, what is the thing that you're scared of that might happen? You mentioned fear. Let's get to the root of it. And when you feel that thing, I want you to envision what it could be, envision the scenario or however it's coming up for you. And when you envision it, just nod your head when you're ready. And when you think about that, I want you just to hold space right there. I know, don't worry, we'll come out of the negative in a minute. But when you think about that fear, I want you to think about where, according to that scenario that's in your mind, where do you feel it the most? Is it your head, your eyes, your throat, your heart, your left shoulder? I don't know. And put your hand on the very spot where you feel that thing, that negativity the most. If it were to be a feeling in your body, where is it? Mm. And I want you to think about, and I'm going to ask you actually to just remain uncomfortable and put your hand back on the area and just keep it there for just a moment. And I want you to, you're already envisioning the negative, but even in that very same spot, I want you to think about what you're in control of and how it could turn around to be for you. Control what you can control to make the situation or make the fear or whatever it is, make it for you. And I want you to just kind of breathe into that. What would that feeling be like? Now, you may not keep your hand where it is, but if that were to be different, how would it feel for the positive angle on that? How would that feel? Would it still be in your head? Would it move to a different space in your body? So I want you to feel where that is. Mm. And just take one big deep breath into that and think about some words that positively describe what that would be like. Okay, and Mish, when you're ready, I want you to get that picture, right? Because you're visual, get that picture in your mind. And when you're ready, you can slowly come back and open up your eyes. And if you talk about what came up for you during that time.
Okay. Let's see. Where should we start? Ooh. What was the first thing you brought up?
The fear or negativity or the worst case scenario.
You said shoot. What? What? Oh my gosh! What did you ask me?
What if you were to experience that thing, like the worst that would happen with the fear or whatever the scenario might be, negatively, how would that look and how would it feel?
All right. Okay. Okay. Because I had an answer for it. I think the issue, what would happen if I did put myself out there, I think is how you worded it. And I think my issue with that is that, like I said, I've pursued this for how many years, and I think if I like fully, my fear is finding out maybe I'm just not as talented as I think I am. And if that's the case, now what? Because here I am, 34, and here I am, put so many years into pursuing a degree, and I'm not as good as I thought I was. And where do I go from here? So I think that's my concern. Maybe. And I think I chose, you said, where do I feel that? I chose, I'm not sure why that spot, it just felt right. I have a lot of anxiety and like frustration, and for some reason when I'm in that state of just of like very high frustration, I just really, everything feels like it really just shoots up, and it's just all in here, just all like thoughts and things just running through my head, and it's just, I feel like everything just goes up, and I think that's why I chose that specific spot.
Makes sense.
And I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, absolutely, because I was going to talk about then when we did the other thing, you went there. Talk about that.
Yeah, so that was, I think, what, if the positive, on the flip side, if I did pursue and things turned out well, I chose that spot because that's kind of like, exhaling. It's funny because I think of like waiting to exhale, that moment where
It's like, phew, right?
It's just like, wow, kind of like, I could breathe. I am at that point where I could breathe, and I've made it, and I'm good. Like I took this really long journey, and it was worth it. And here I am pursuing something, and it wasn't done in vain. So yeah.
So let me ask you. You said you do it sometimes on the side,
and it feels great when I do.
So so would I be wrong to say you know what you should be doing?
Like half and half.
Ooh, what is that? What's happening? Oh my God, what's happening? The head back, the head forward. Talk about what's happening right now.
Like I said, it's half and half. Like I could possibly put myself out there more, but in the same time, I don't.
Okay. What aren't you saying? What did you just block from coming up? Because I said, ugh, you stopped, you choked on something. What was that something that you choked on?
Oh, I don't know.
What does, you know when we use that word and you're using it, put yourself out there. For me, it has this connotation like, I need to run in the middle of my street right now. Hello, world, I'm here. But let me just ask this. Is there a way to wade in the water to get to the depth that you want to? Is there a way to wade?
No, possibly.
Okay. What might it, let's play around for, pardon me, shits and giggles. What might waiting look like? If putting yourself out there could have multiple meanings, right? I mean, you don't have to quit whatever thing and then just do that like that. You don't have to run in the middle of the street with the camera. I don't think you do, unless that's the only way it can be done. So let's talk about incrementally. What could you do? What could feel comfortable, more comfortable, uncomfortable, but still comfortable with for you?
I mean, ugh.
Is there an idea coming to your head, but you're holding back on right now?
No, I'm not. I'm actually not. I'm just trying to. I'm just trying to think of. Just trying to think what would be a good good way to wade in.
Mm-hmm. Well, maybe, okay, is it better for us to think about what you do with your photography now and then try to come up with the next step? Like, let's just talk about what you do currently. Because you say you do it, and when you do it, you love it. What is it that you're doing when you're doing it currently, as in the manner in which you do it?
As far as like my side work, well,
Yeah.
all the stuff that I've done on the side as of late has been because of word of mouth.
Mm.
So yeah, now that I think about it, it's not necessarily because I reached out. It's been because of like someone I know, and it's like, oh hey, by the way, I have a friend who needs this. Ugh. Yeah.
Looks like you want to say something else. I don't want to interrupt your thought.
No, please do.
Okay, so I'm going to say that that's amazing. Word of mouth is what folks are trying to get, right? They're trying to get people to tell other people about them. So that's amazing. Next step, could you reach out to the people you've already worked for to, if they were willing to recommend you once, to get you to recommend you again? I'm gonna do one of these things where I'm gonna throw a whole bunch of stuff at the wall. Some stuff is gonna stick, maybe none of it'll stick. Mm-hmm. Reaching out to the same people you already have relationships with, right? That's comfortable. You're a photographer, a website of your work. You have a body of work that you can, I imagine you might have to get some permissions. I'm not sure how that part works, but you have a body of work that you can show to the world. You probably can get a beautiful creative website done than your average Joe Schmo.
You know what's crazy about that?
What's that?
Again, I don't, it's frustrating because I have a freaking website. It's just not published and it's just sitting there.
Okay. Mish?
I don't get, I don't know what the hell's wrong with me. It's just
no. Okay, let me just ask. Website. This is fine. Sometimes we got to go lean into this right now. It's all good. Mish, can you publish the website?
I can.
This week. Okay, can you give me a date on when you can publish it?
I mean, I technically can. Would I get it published on that date? I don't know.
Well, just give me, let's say, I'm going to push you a little bit here. Just tell me a date. When can you publish the webpage?
Let's see, June 20th. Let's see, July 20th. I don't know.
July 20th? Okay. Okay, I see you getting frustrated with yourself, I think.
Yes.
Okay.
It's just so stupid. Oh.
This is why this is normal during a coaching session, okay? This thing is inside of you, right? This is already here. So I heard you say July 20th. Let me ask you, what is going to solidify? Okay, we know you can do, in the end, you can do whatever the hell you do or don't want to do, right? However, what can you do right now to at least bring more of this into solidifying that July 20th can be the day? I don't know. Do you put things on your phone, on your Android? Do you put things on a printed calendar? Do you write it on and put it on a magnet on the refrigerator? What can you do to make July 20th real for you?
I normally put things on my phone.
Okay. So that's one action step. I should have told you, you should have your notebook with you. That's an action step. It's to put it in your phone. Is your phone nearby, or are you talking to us on your phone?
No, this is the computer.
Okay. If your phone's nearby, I could wait 20 seconds while you put it into your phone. I mean, we here. I could edit this part out, but why edit it out? Go ahead.
All right, hold on. Jesus Christ.
Talk through this. Talk through this. Talk through the discomfort.
It's just, I'm just so frustrated.
So when you're even right now, while you're putting in the July 20th date for yourself, and you're saying that you're frustrated, what's the frustration at this moment?
So the frustration is that I have my Google to-do list app. And obviously on a to-do list, you should check off what you're supposed to do.
Right.
I have my little sections, whether it's to-do list as mother, to-do list household chores, to-do list for my dog, to-do list for photography work. So I just have a whole bunch of to-do list photography work, and it hasn't been checked off, and I've just been pushing it back and pushing it back. So I'm just looking at it now, and I'm just, and a lot of it is reach out to, because in the past I've done shoots at fashion weeks last year. So a lot of them were reach out to the fall and spring fashion weeks for this year. Haven't done that. It's just, and that's why as I look down this just now, that's why I'm just shaking my head like, ugh.
Okay. So you have that to-do list.
Okay.
These things happen, and I guess what I want to,
and I can't say it's not procrastination because I'm very anal about a lot of stuff. Like I get a lot of things done. Like everything else on this list is checked off. It's just the photography stuff. It's, I don't know.
A lot of times I'll say, what is, to really look at your self-indulgent motivation. What is your self-indulgent why? Yes, you can say, I want to do this because my child will have a better life, my husband this, my child that, my family, but what is your why? Because I want you, Mish, to get connected with your why. Why is it that you want to do it? I know you said when you do it, you feel great, but what is the why behind even wanting to pursue it? I hear you talking about the stories, but what I want to push you in a nice, loving way, what I want to push you to do is to become connected with the why. Remember when you did like this, you were fully connected with that frustrated thing. And even now, because even now when you do, you go to your head. That's what it seems. It doesn't look like you're staging it. Like, let me do this, right? You're just naturally doing it. And then when you went there, you know, more of the envisioning, more of the connecting to what you're going to feel when you do it, but also to the why. Because I'm going to tell you something. Let me just tell you a quick secret. I used to do, you know, my kids are much older, they grown ass. But when they were younger, all my things were about them. Oh, I want to do this for them. And that was fine. That's fine. But there was one day where they literally weren't there. And I wasn't married, or, well, for the most part, I wasn't really married. I was a single parent. So literally, like, all I did was for them. But one day when they went away, I had to figure out my why. So there are sometimes things that change in our lives that you just have to figure out what is your why and connect your heart to it. Like, connect your heart and your soul, because the same thing that makes you check off that list for this, for that, for this, for that, and then yet your list is just nice and just staying right there, clean and pristine. But what is it? How can you connect? When you hear me say that, what comes up for you? And then we're going to get ready to get you some action steps.
So the question is, what is my why for?
Yeah, or what, and if you don't have, like, just tell me anything that you're thinking as you just heard me say those things.
No, I get what you're asking. I see where you're coming from. And while I don't think I have an exact answer. I could definitely say that, and I'm not saying it to try to convince myself otherwise. Like I know I genuinely, it's not like oh crap, I spent money and time, I need to do it because I spent money and time. It's because I genuinely enjoy it. I enjoyed the outcome of it. I enjoy art. I originally went to school, to college for fashion design. I tried other things afterwards, try the sciences, didn't enjoy that, looked around, and then went back into the art world, and then I ultimately ended up in photography. So I'm not trying to convince myself that, you know, I do genuinely enjoy photography. So that's not that, but I don't have an exact answer to the why.
So I have these action steps, right? The biggest one is to not just know your why, but become connected to your why. You know, I always go to my heart because that's where my connection is. Like, I'm just like, I don't know how big my heart is, but I mean, it's always like, that's where I feel stuff. But when I think about me, about my why, like it's almost like this trickle down in my body and it comes to my heart. And it has nothing to do with my kids. Like, it became about me. So of course, your child is younger, that's fine. But I encourage you as your major action step. Yes, July 20th, you know, you wrote that down. However, in this meantime, Mish, what is that self-indulgent why? And some people will say selfish, but I'm going to move away from the word selfish, because even one day when your child becomes grown and flown, you are still left with you.
Right.
You have to do something for you. And I'll give you this hint too, as you think about this, because I mean, listen, this may take a day of you just walking around town and shooting pictures and seeing what connects with, you know, you're creative. So you'll find a way to find that why. Mm-hmm. It may take you just sitting for a few minutes each day, just closing your eyes and just saying, what is it? What is it? And waiting for that small voice inside of you to tell you what it is. But I will give you this hint. People are motivated two ways. They're motivated towards something, or they're motivated away from something. Those are the only two ways. We don't think of it like that, but either it's motivated to something or motivated away from something. And when I say away, like your boss says, if you guys don't hand in these reports by next week, you're getting fired. Okay, I don't want to get fired. I'm being motivated away from that, right? Away from getting fired, so that pushes me towards my goal. Okay. Some people may see something they want so badly, they're moving towards that thing. So consider that as you consider your why. Now, I know in the beginning you said you wanted to see, you wanted to know kind of like what it was that's stopping you from holding you back from pursuing the very thing that you wanted to pursue. I guess the question should be, are you able to articulate what you think has held you back from pursuing the very thing?
No.
Okay. So what I encourage you to do is, the why is everything. Like, there's the book by Simon Sinek. I think it's Start with the Why. Yeah. It is literally everything. So even when you think about, well, what's blocking me? Get the why first. Move, that hand looks ferocious. That's, get the why first, and then anything else. Listen, I'm not saying all other things will melt away, but that why is going to drive. That why is going to drive. And then we could come back and say, all right, let's see what some of those obstacles are. Now that you have the why, you know what that driving factor is. But it's almost like you want to drive. I was going to use a GPS as an analogy. It wasn't going to be good. So you're driving to a destination, but you don't know why you plugged it into your GPS. You just randomly that's the worst scenario ever. Okay, forget all of that. Start with why. I'm not the best with those analogies, so I'm going to ask you to just start with the why. So at least you have some action steps that you could start moving towards to get to this thing of pursuing what you want.
Okay.
You have some action steps? Okay. What will you do?
I will, well, like you mentioned, reach out to the people that I know and see if they could reach out to people they know.
Yeah, that is. And more importantly, please, Mish, the why is going to be everything. Because you could be reaching out, but you want what's going to drive you, okay? You already know you love it. That's great. But why are you doing it? My lovely young queen, you may be leaving this coaching session more frustrated than you went in. It may be a first for me. I usually help solve people's problems, but you do have some action steps ahead of you. Do you have any last questions or thoughts for me?
No.
Okay. And this is not it's nothing to walk away feeling condemned about or like let go of the frustration. Just get your why, make your calls, and just move. Like don't live in that space. Don't live in that.
You just woke up.
Okay, and with that being said, Mish, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I appreciate it.
Okay, all right, my girl. I'll see you on social media. Okay, bye-bye.
So much can be explained out of our why. I believe there was a certain point in my life that there were certain goals I wasn't achieving. Because if you said to me, why is it, Vuyanzi, that you want to achieve that? I really didn't have my why outside of my 3 children. I was a single parent for a long time, and I didn't have a why outside of my children. And I was truly confronted with the why once my children left. Why did they leave? Well, they grew up. Don't worry, they didn't just run away. I was confronted with the why of who I was when my children there was one point that all 3 of them were in college. Can we talk about how expensive that year was? But I had to figure it out then. And since then, because they are grown and flown now, I do have to go back to knowing that there's a reason why I'm here, even looking at you. There's a reason why I've chosen to do this show. There's a reason why I bring the queens on here who do these jumpstart sessions with me. It makes me confront my why often. Possibly the reason why I wasn't doing all that I desired to do was because there was still no connection in my heart. The why still wasn't there. It didn't mean I didn't like that thing, but there was nothing that was soul connected, that was heart connected, that was purposefully connected to that why. And I asked you on the beginning of this episode, why aren't you doing what you truly want to be doing? Listen, you can come up with, because, the kids are really busy, right? A lot of times I used to say that because there was a point that I'm taking these ones to football, this one to dance, this one to a friend, this one to a party. It's just all these things. We can say that. Maybe you have a spouse who's not fully supportive. But can I tell you this? In the end, when you think about, Queen, when you think about the reason why you may not be doing what you truly want to do, you may get mad at me for saying this, but it's about you. It really, truly is about you. Listen, I don't have time to go into a coaching session with you. Some of you say, it's not me, it's this, it's that, it's the other thing. But there's only one person that you have control over. There's only one person that can truly light that fire and spark it up in you. It's you. All right, Queen. Until the next time we meet, keep in mind, if you want some help connecting to your livelihood, if you want some help getting to that thing that you really know you're supposed to be doing or that you desire to do, you can choose to work with me, Life Coach Vuyanzi. Reach out, connect with me. But other than that, I will see you next time. Mwah.